Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. The Doom in the Tomb Wild event has been pretty interesting, to say the least, because this is the first time that Hearthstone has had cards from Wild come back to the standard format, perhaps even some kind of a precursor to a Hearthstone core set. I wrote about that subject on Hearthstone Top Decks, by the way. There's a link down below in the description if you want to check that out. But in this video, I want to talk about the downside in a little bit more detail. And the downside is that Evolve broke the meta. Unfortunately, we are broken. All because of this Evolve. Not only because of Evolve, this is really showcasing how when you bring back a wild card into a new standard format, okay, it might be fine in wild, but when you bring it to standard and the power level in standard is lower and it happens to have just the powerful synergy cards with it, then it can just break things. And Evolve has some really powerful synergy cards currently in the standard format, because there's the Desert Hare, 3 mana, Battlecry summon 2 1/1 Desert Hares, so 3 mana for 3 1/1 minions that are 3 drops, so they evolve into 4 drops. And there is Mogu Flesh Shaper, 7 mana 3/4 rush, costs 1 less for each minion on the battlefield. And the synergy between all these three is just incredible, evolving an 8 drop, and also Mogu Flesh Shaper and Desert Hare, because Hare 3 mana summon 3 minions. For 3 mana it discounts the Mogu Flesh Shaper by 3, and that's also so incredibly powerful. This is also really powerful even compared to what's currently available in Wild. Of course, all of these cards are available in Wild. And additionally, the traditional Evolve targets this Corridor Creeper, costs 1 less whenever a minion dies while this is in your hand, and there's the Double Gangster, Battlecry summon 2 copies of this minion. But neither of these synergize as well with the Flesh Shaper as the Hare does, because Corridor Creeper costs less when stuff dies. Okay, so stuff needs to die, but that doesn't help you summon really big stuff very early in the game. And Double Gangster, for 5 mana it summons 3 minions, so you're still playing +2 extra mana that you can't move into the discount on the Mogu Flesh Shaper. So arguably we have already the best stuff available from Wild for Evolve Shaman deck, all in the standard format right now. And the result, here's the result. This graph was tweeted by HS Replay, and it is the played win rate of Evolve by turn. So if you play Evolve on turn 3, almost 70%. If you play Evolve on turn 4, almost 70%. Then it starts to go down slowly. And this graph is unique to standard format. If you take a look at the same graph in Wild format, it's behind an HS Replay paywall, so I can't show you, but I have seen that graph. And that graph goes in a similar way, but much lower, because Wild decks are simply able to respond much better to those threats. So instead of having around 70% win rate when you play your Evolve early in the game, in Wild it's less than 60%. So okay, when you get Evolve, that's like pretty good. But that's not all. What is the overall result of this? Because there have always been combos that when you can pull them off you just win games. Alright, and that's cool. The problem with those combos typically is that they are not consistent, and that's the balancing act. You don't have the consistency, so even though when you pull your combo you win, but you don't pull it nearly often enough. But Shaman is pretty good at doing this. And that shows up in this chart, which is the win rate spread of Quest Shaman against all the archetypes in the game. And it's very, very green, meaning that it doesn't have many bad matchups. And there's nothing like in deep red, which would indicate a severely bad matchup. We're talking like old Freeze Mage versus Control Warrior type of bad. Nothing is that bad, really. Okay, sure, Combo Priest, Big Spell Mage, Quest Hunter kind of do something, but for the most part Shaman is doing pretty well, and even the bad matchups are actually fairly even matchups. And it gets worse when you play a small number of games, because these are of course over thousands and thousands and thousands of games. But let's say you play one evening and you face 4 Shamans. Then your life might look something like this. I was playing Holy Wrath Paladin, one of the counters to Shaman, 2 consecutive games. First one lasted 4 minutes until turn 5, and the second one lasted 6 minutes until turn 7. Yes, the power of Evolve and sometimes also Bloodlust. So that's a pretty rough spot we're in right now. And what I really dislike is what this has done to the Doom in the Tomb event itself and the Wild event itself, because we got some pretty fancy cards that we could play with. We got stuff like Nesot the Corruptor back, we got Ragnaros the Firelord back. But while these cards see a lot of play lower down in the ladder, the amount of play they see higher up on the ladder is severely limited by Shaman. Well, you play your Nesot the Corruptor, Shaman clicks his hero power, double up battle cries and plays the infamous mind control tech. If Shaman happens to have 2 of those, then he will have more of a board than you will after your Nesot turn. So Nesot just isn't a very reliable win condition right now. And the same thing with Ragnaros. It's very good at killing totems and stuff at the moment. So there were lots of things that could have been developed in the Wild event that now cannot be because Shaman is so prevalent. Maybe you can play them in like rank 15 or so, but the higher you go, then the more impossible it just becomes. I was actually looking forward to like building, for example, a budget control deck. It's almost impossible to build a budget control deck. The last time I had something like that was when Uther the hero card was in the game, and then I had this combo-ish control paladin deck, because paladin is the only deck that has cheap tools for its control board class. And paladin could work with Nesot, but what's the point? If you build a budget control paladin with Nesot, there's no way you're going to win any Shaman games. So we don't get to see nearly the full power and the meta that could come from Doom in Tomb event, because Shaman is so prevalent, because Evolve is so broken. But it's still not an easy fix, because let's say you take Evolve out of the equation, would we then start to see Nesot deck after Nesot deck after Nesot deck? I mean, that would also be possible, and that would be pretty rough too. So it's hard to say if we can fix this before the next expansion in December. One potential way to try to fix this would be to replace Evolve with some other old Shaman card. Maybe some Totem Synergy card, for example, promote the Totem approach instead of the Evolve approach. Say Thunderbluff Valiant or something. But causal chains are complicated and it's difficult to evaluate what the effects on the meta would be. But one thing we do know for sure, and that's that Evolve did, for the time being, break the meta.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.